beautiful, amazing day to all people of the way. Welcome to a very special edition of Truth Talk Tuesdays. This is the first part in a beautiful series we're going to call The Journey of Manifesting Your Soul Partner.
Yes. And what a beautiful series this is going to be. And I really look forward to creating this with you, my love. And the inspiration for creating this series came from a conversation that I had a couple of days ago. And this person was asking me how he could manifest this for himself. And I think that really sparked the inspiration for these conversations. And throughout our journey, we really have been touching on this with many people, and so we felt that it was the right time to begin speaking about this. And I love that we are having community feedback and getting ideas brought to us. I would really like to invite more of that to happen, and we can tailor these videos to what you guys all really want to learn. So in today's episode, we're really going to go back to basics. We're going to get to the core essence of where this journey really begins. And that is in finding your identity. It's in discovering who you are, what you want, and what your truth is, and also what we need to let go of, because there's a lot of things that we hold on to that do not serve us. And that really imparts in us really finding what it is that we are seeking for.
Yeah, and I read a post that you shared the other day that you had originally written about a year ago, right? To the exact date.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right, which is exactly about this, about love and about soul partners. So very much in alignment, and I love that.
Yeah, so to share each of our journeys and where we started off, to give you guys a bit more context as to how important it is that we learn who we are at our core. It's such an important thing, because when we learn more about who we are and what we care about, when we get clear on what our values are, on what matters most to us, we're going to discover our identity as a result. And ladies first, baby girl, what did you find yourself experiencing over a year ago, if not longer? How did you begin the process and embark on the journey of rediscovering yourself and reclaiming your identity?
Absolutely. So for me, it was about 2 years ago, I would have to say. It was 2 years ago where my journey began to manifesting you. And I found myself, well, at the time, I was still currently married, and I wasn't happy. The marriage wasn't fulfilling. I had lost me for the longest time, and I found myself in a place where I just really wanted to start living in more fullness. I really wanted to feel like I was living, because at that point in time, I did feel like I was only just existing. I didn't feel like myself. I didn't have any ambitions. I didn't have any really goals. I didn't have any life goals aside from being a housewife and a mother to my beautiful daughters. But that is all that I had. And so for me, I started off in personal development, because I knew that was my way of starting to find more of myself. And at the current time, I had absolutely no awareness of my spirit and what that actually meant, which I find crazy, because that was only 2 years ago. But yeah, I had no idea. I was very detached from that. And so while embarking on personal development was how I began to realize that I have this spirit that resides inside of this body, and I came to the realization that, well, shit, if I don't know my spirit, then how the heck do I know who I am? Because that is your essence. It is your spirit. And and it began the journey of really looking into myself, really silencing a lot of the noise that was around, a lot of the beliefs that I had that I thought were my own, because of previous experiences or childhood experiences, and I had created this belief within myself that I had to be a certain way and that I had to just be
Fit
something
a certain mold, fit the mold that your family wanted you to be a part of, fit the mold that society wanted you to be a part of. And that's the challenge that we all have to overcome.
Absolutely.
It's unlearning patterns of thinking and patterns of behavior that are taught to us, that we learn, that are not really who we are. Most people are not their own person. Most people are other people's thoughts. Most people are weird combinations and mixes of thinking that is their own and thinking that isn't. Behavior that is unique to them and behavior that's taught to them. And it's only when we take a moment to silence our mind, shut out all external noise, and really focus on understanding who we are, what we care about, how we want to live our lives, and to do so in alignment with our values, our principles, in order to live as fulfilling a life as possible.
Exactly. That's right. And so it began, I started just really looking into my soul, into my spirit, and writing down. For me, I found that writing was a really good way for me to get these thoughts and these feelings out. And just writing down, but being really present with what I was feeling and thinking. And I think we need to remember to not be judgmental either of the things.
Absolutely.
Because that's a big thing. People really judge what they want because of these limiting beliefs that they already have. And so it's about letting go of the judgment and just really focusing.
And overly thinking, overly criticizing.
Yes.
Themselves and the things that they do and how they want to do things. And, that's part of coming into our own, is being comfortable with the way in which we do things, how we like to do them, and doing them purely because we enjoy doing it the way that we do, in our own way,
And it's part of discovering your truth, and when you can really find what you want and you can put it down and you don't judge it, and then you start believing in yourself, you start trusting yourself, you start having faith in yourself, confidence in yourself, and above all, just loving yourself unconditionally, loving every part of yourself. I think that's the hugest part, is really having this love for yourself.
It is. It's the biggest thing. And that's the sexiest thing about you. That's what caught my attention about you. And that's what maintained my attention. That's what ultimately speaks to me as a sovereign man about a woman. It's her awareness of who she is, of her energy, how she carries and expresses herself in her feminine essence. And the woman, it's up to her to really develop those parts of her. The man comes in, and after he's done his work,
Yeah.
Once he begins taking the lead in his life, leading it the way that he wants, in a way that brings out the best in himself, he's able to pick up where the feminine leaves off once she's done the work necessary and is ready for that masculine energy to flesh out even more of who she is. Absolutely. The feminine woman has to do the work still, you know.
And we will definitely expand upon that in more depth in one of the future episodes within this series, still within this series, because it just completely goes hand in hand, doesn't it?
It does. And it's just such a gift to have you, especially after having gone through those experiences for yourself, because it's definitely a much more traditional way of relating to the relationships in society, you know, between men and women, marriage, you know, boyfriend, girlfriend dynamics. You know, that's something that I admittedly have never been through. You know, it's funny to say this, but I've never actually had a girlfriend per se. I've never had the traditional boyfriend girlfriend experience. The way in which I've related to the feminine has been so different, so radical, you know, and it has a lot to do with my religious background. Yeah, you know, you were not allowed to express yourself freely when it came to the way that you related to women as a man, you know. So because I had a naturally critically thinking mind, I was able to observe all of the incorrect patterns of thinking and behavior that led to so much drama, not only in the community that I was a part of, the religious background that I was a part of, but the drama and the bullshit that I saw on the outside looking in. You know, all the drama, all the lying, all the manipulation that most people go through. And I was like, what the fuck is all this? You know, I was able to have a third person's observer's perspective on it all, and then like structure the way that I wanted to experience the feminine, the way that I wanted to give my gift as a sovereign man to the feminine. So I came out like this with this unique, fresh perspective on it, right? And that's a gift. It's not as relatable though to most people because it's such a different experience. And so you help me to really connect with how most people experience relationships, you know, where to start, right? You know, it's very important to think about how you want to live your life, ask the right questions, you know, think about what matters to you. And no matter where you are, it's still a challenge to step aside, seclude yourself for a time, to be okay with being alone, right? We were talking about that as well before we started recording. You know, the importance of embracing your aloneness, embracing what it is to be okay with being alone, to be full in your aloneness and not need someone else to complete you.
Yeah.
Right? You can continue, expand on that as well, baby girl.
Definitely. I get when you find your truth, right? You come to realize that you do not need anybody to fulfill you, because that's what so many people seek for when they're seeking for a partner. They're seeking for somebody to complete them, you know. And when we don't feel complete within ourselves, something's missing, you know. Something's missing, but you're seeking outside of yourself to fulfill that, whereas you need to go inward and fulfill it yourself. You have to be okay with being alone. And I guess it's surrendering to the universe, right? To source, to whatever you want to call it. It's surrendering to that and to the natural unfolding of things perfectly. But at the same time, in taking proactive action towards what it is that you are seeking, because you can have complete faith and do nothing. And it will take you an entire lifetime,
Yeah.
before you know it, you'll be old and think, fuck, where's my life gone? You
Yeah.
know, you speak to a lot of older people that have experienced that, and they all say the same thing. I wish I took action earlier. I wish
That's true.
I wish I didn't waste my whole life stuck in these limiting beliefs and in these attachments that, you know, I could have lived a much fuller, a much, you know, true to myself kind of life outside of what other people are expectant of me, you know. So it really is going into letting go of these attachments, which was a huge part of my journey as well. You know,
Yeah.
letting go of the attachments that, you know, that are holding you back, because attachments essentially are anchors. You know, that's what they are. They anchor us down, and that's why they're called an attachment. You know, and these
Exactly.
beliefs that we have built for ourselves. And when you can let go and you can surrender to that flow while still in pursuit of your truth, right? Because you must always be in pursuit of your truth. And when you find that truth, you come to find your purpose. You come to discover what your mission is here, you know, in this life. And yeah, we have to, again, as with silencing the noise to begin with, I feel like not the end, because we are constantly growing and we are constantly expanding. There is always, you know, we must always, I guess, be open to discovering more and seeing different perceptions and then taking what resonates with yourself. But in discovering your identity and feeling fulfilled within yourself, I guess the last kind of thing that you need to tackle is letting go. Truly letting go, because when you have some kind of ideology of what something should be, you know, you're very fixated on that, as well as it just sparked in my mind. We were speaking about it earlier again, but when you feel like you have to be a certain way to attract that person into your life, you know, that is another attachment or another belief system that you need to let go of, because we shouldn't feel that we need to change ourselves for someone else.
Yeah.
Because that's giving your power away to someone else. With
That's
the
it.
right person, with the right person, they love you for who you are. And because you are truthful to you, you're not trying to change for them. Nobody really wants that. Not when you are in a fulfilling relationship with a soul partner. You want that person to completely be themselves. And if they are your true soul partner, then you will just align. You will just align, and there is no needing to change yourself
Yeah.
for them. Yeah, there's no need to feel like you have to work on the relationship. Again, like with anything that feels forced, with anything that feels like hard and you've got to work at it and it's not working, so we've got to think of something else, it's not working. You shouldn't have to
That's it.
force anything.
If you're both aligned with each other, you'll gravitate towards each other naturally.
Exactly.
You know, commitment is forced.
Yes.
Commitment is a fulfillment of shoulds and should nots.
That's right.
And that's not something that comes naturally to us. We gravitate towards what is aligned with us naturally, you know. And that's something that being alone helps us to understand, you know, because the one teacher more powerful, more effective than experience, most people say that experience is the best teacher, when in actuality, a teacher infinitely more effective than experience is observation. Observation is paying attention and mindfully understanding what it is that we want without having to experience the heartache, without having to waste time. It's using our energy, our time, the most valuable resources effectively by just paying attention, by being aware, increasing our awareness of the things that we want to work on, right? And
Yeah.
we don't know what we don't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. We don't know what we don't know, baby
No,
girl.
that's right.
But continue. What were you gonna say?
Yeah, I was going to say that. Oh, I lost my thought. It's all
No,
right.
that's okay. That's okay. Let it come to you. Let it come to
Yeah.
you. You know, we don't know what we don't know, and that's why it is such a beautiful thing that when both parties, when both man and woman do the internal work necessary, they come together when is needed at the right time, at the appointed time, for them to both come together and bring the best out in each other.
Absolutely.
A man further fleshes out that woman's insecurities, that woman's shadow, the parts of her ego that don't feel safe because a man perhaps failed her. More than likely, a man perhaps failed her. And so she's had to do internal work to heal those parts of herself.
Yeah, that's right.
You know,
And I remembered my thought now. In
there you
gaining
go.
the awareness that you spoke of, that comes down to knowing yourself. Because when you do know yourself and you trust yourself and you are able to connect with your spirit. And once you're connected to your spirit, you tune into how it guides you. Spirit and intuition, you are able to be guided by that. And, through our own experience, my love, even when we just first speak to somebody, we know instantly whether we are aligned with them or not. Right? Because you have this internal awareness, we still must be mindful. However, that awareness just becomes a part of who you are. And
we're fully in tune with the language of our intuition.
Yes, and it makes it
we're fully in tune. Yeah.
Not
with
only
the direction that spirit wants to take us in.
And I was just going to say that we are aware of these energies, I guess, whether it be romantically, whether it be friendship, whether it be business, whatever relationship it is that you form with this person, you know instantly whether they are aligned with you or not. And it's such a beautiful thing, because I know before I gained this awareness, I had no idea at all. I didn't have this filter. I allowed too many energies to come into my space, and I didn't know how to filter through them, and it sucked the energy out of me. It really did, because I was just allowing my energy to just be taken by people that weren't aligned with me. So when you're not aligned with people, you lose that energy is just taken, really, because they're not fulfilling you.
You're drained. You're drained.
Yeah, you're drained. That's the right word to use. Yeah, definitely. And so, my gosh, by doing that internal work, not only in regards to attracting a soul partner, but really all people in your life, your soul tribe, I guess you could call it as well, it really helps you in gaining that awareness so that you can, better navigate through these people, I guess.
Yeah, that's it. All of that just ties back into knowing who you are. When you have the clarity surrounding who you are and how you most want to carry yourself, express yourself, and project your energy signature out into the world, that is ultimately how you will find the person that just digs the hell out of that shit. That loves the absolute hell out of you. Full stop. Without reservations. It's only when you really understand yourself that you will find that person that does.
That's right.
That wants you to be fully yourself, that wants to fully complement you and bring out even more of your gifts to the world.
That's right. And to speak also to the people that are already in a relationship now, you know, if, like, based on my own experience, you know, I wasn't happy and I wasn't fulfilled, and it wasn't really the family life that I wanted to be a part of. It wasn't in alignment with me ultimately. You know, sometimes we don't realize why something is not working. We don't realize why we're not getting on with our partner, or why we feel that they are doing things to irritate us, or to, you know, not listen, or just, you know, and ultimately it's because you're not aligned, you know. And until you come to recognize this, you know, a lot of people will begin their journeys together and they may be already growing together, right? But then there may come a point in time where that stops and you are no longer growing together. Or in reverse, even, you may not be growing, and then all of a sudden one of the two begins doing this growth within themselves, and they want to, you know, experience a more full life. If both people in the relationship are not growing together and they're not expanding together, there will come a point where that relationship just doesn't serve you any longer. And it is completely okay to be able to let go of that relationship, because ultimately each person needs to be happy. You know, you don't want to be in something that you feel like you have to remain in, but it's not in your heart. And again, being able to recognize that and being able to appreciate that person that was in your life for as long as they were in your life, you know, and recognizing that that relationship served its purpose to bring you to the point that it has brought you to, and being able to let go in love. And we will touch on this again in another episode, because that deserves its own episode completely, and being able to separate through love and appreciation. And, you know, with my ex, we are the best of friends right now, and
It's the most beautiful thing.
It is.
And that's only possible. I'm friends with him, you know.
Yeah.
He's such a beautiful guy, you know, and that can only happen when all parties are genuinely interested in each other's joy, in each other's happiness, you know. And when you let love and spirit lead the way in which you live your life, the best outcomes and the best results will naturally manifest themselves effortlessly, almost effortlessly. And that's one thing that I want to say to the gentleman tuning in, you know, whether you're in a partnership, relationship or not, let love lead in every single thing that you do, and have confidence in your ability to give your gifts to the feminine, to the woman that you're talking to, you know, whether she is in a situationship or a relationship or otherwise. You know, if I let the fact that Samantha was married at the time stop me from connecting with her, we wouldn't be here right now. We wouldn't be having this conversation with you guys. But it's because I was confident in my ability to bring the best out in her and to help her realize even more of what she was discovering for herself, that we discovered that we were twin flames.
Yeah.
And it's the most beautiful thing. So in concluding this first episode, I want to just leave you all with that. To let your love for life, your love for what it is you know you want to give to this life, the love that you want to give to those around you, lead in everything that you do. And that love is ultimately what will help you to reveal who you truly are at your core. We are each unique expressions of love. And when we get to know that personally, intimately for ourselves, that is when we are going to create exactly the life that we want, without limitations, without reservations, exactly the way that we want it, to the precise detail.
Absolutely.
And
That's
it's
beautiful.
ultimately the most fulfilling way to live. It's a fucking blast. It's so damn lit. You know, I wouldn't change a single aspect of my life for a second. For a second, I don't even think about things being any different. That's how much I love my life. And that's ultimately where you want to get to.
It is.
So yeah, it's going to be a damn good series, guys. You know, we're really looking forward to delving into other aspects of this journey that truly is the adventure of a lifetime to embark on, the journey of manifesting your soul partner. And we'll have as many parts to this journey as we need to dive into. And it's going to be such a damn good time and a pleasure diving in deeper with you guys into all of these different facets of the journey. And well, with that being said, yeah, baby girl. With that being said, thank you all for tuning in. Until next time.